for our nougat candy. Right, there's my butter and my white chocolate chips. I'm gonna microwave this and stir in 30-second increments. Nougat earlier, and I am using the same spatula because I'm making 2 different kinds, so that's why there's nougat already on there.
The other one was Lifesavers nougat, and this one is Gummy Skittles nougat?
Yes.
Wow.
And do you think they're gonna freak out because I have nougat on my spatula?
I'm sure somebody will. Maybe throw out their medication.
But see, I'm in the Christmas spirit, so it doesn't matter. See,
yes, you are.
I even have a little holly on the side.
Aw.
My $3 elf slippers.
Those are very nice.
All right, now we are getting it all mixed. Okay, I'm gonna heat it just a titch more. One of the best inventions ever. Yes.
Grandma loved marshmallow cream.
Yes, she did. A lot. Okay. Vanilla. Oops.
Oh, that's cool. Little spikes of vanilla in there.
Yep. That's the real stuff. So if you want to make homemade vanilla, or Dining on a Dime Cookbook Volume 1 tells you how you can make that huge hunkin' thing of vanilla.
Looks like we need to refresh our supply there.
Yes, we do. Here's a little tip: if your bowls are sliding around, take a shelf liner and then it will stop sliding around. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay. Get all of this mixed in. Okay.
Skittles gummies. I wonder if they taste like actual Skittles.
I don't know, but I think you need to taste test there.
I need to see.
Okay, tell us if they taste like actual Skittles.
They do taste like Skittles.
Really?
They're kind of stickier than other gummy candies.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, they're really good.
Wow.
Like,
Dad won't film me. Do you need a taste test? Here, Jack, do you need to taste test a gummy Skittle?
Sure. Tell us if they taste like Skittles.
Yep, they taste like Skittles, although I think I need a bigger sample to...
You need a bigger sample. Does Dave need a bigger sample?
Oh no, she stuck her finger in the bowl.
Oh my goodness, how dare you?
My hands are clean, guys. Oh my goodness. Did I set the internet a roar?
These taste like Starburst.
Tastes like Starbursts?
Yeah.
They did have Starburst gummies too, I think. Guys, it is our Black Friday sale right now. You can get all of our cookbooks and our price book for 40% off right now for our Black Friday sale. The link is in the description below if you want easy recipes to get you in and out of the kitchen quick that your family will love with inexpensive ingredients that everybody has on hand. Go check out our cookbooks. This is only one of 2 sales where this is the lowest price of the year. Go check it out in the description below, livingonadime.com. Okay. So I think, because what I did was I cut the parchment paper and this was what was left. So just going to spray the sides here in case it goes over, but waste not, want not for parchment paper, right, dear?
Right. Waste not, want not. I haven't heard that in a long time.
At least not since, what, 3 videos ago?
Did I hear you say that? I totally forgot.
Yep.
I'm just thinking of all our Depression era grandparents that said that.
Yep. Okay. Now I'm putting on a glove just so I don't have to dig candy out of my hand. I have found the easiest way to do this, and you can do it without a glove. I just have fingernails that I don't want to be digging candy out of, which you may not necessarily get it under your fingernails, but also in my other videos I put candies on top. Seems like only about 3/4 of them stay on top, so I am not putting candies on top now. Let's see how this works. And then if you just slide your hand, you notice that if you just slide it across, just like this, see, look, it smooths out the wrinkles. You think I could do that with my wrinkles?
What wrinkles?
Oh, you're the perfect husband. See, you know exactly the right words. See, look at that. All right, now we're gonna let this set up, and then we will come back and cut it.
This is the gummy Skittles?
This is the gummy Skittles.
Oops. Oh, it's interesting how it looks different because of the size of the dots, and maybe they're richer colors or something.
I don't know. Okay, so we're gonna loosen the sides. Now the trick with the gummy, or with the nougat candies, is to cut it before it's really gotten too hard, because it's easier to cut. Yeah, straight lines is not my forte. I think I failed straight lines in kindergarten. What do you think?
Maybe, but you should call that rustic?
Yes, call that rustic. Try the knife and see if that works. Yeah, the knife works. So I'm noticing with the different candies.
So you don't want to try the pizza cutter?
Well, I can try that. I'm pretty sure the pizza cutter is not going to work. But let's try it.
Oh, maybe it'll roll them up on the end.
Yeah, that's not. The different candies make it more or less easy to cut. So you may just have to experiment between a knife and a scraper.
Oh, when we were talking about all the candies that we've tried, we also did Welch's.
Yeah, did the fruit snacks.
That way you can say you're having fruit and not just candy.
Sure, dear. We'll just say that, shall we?
It's made with 10% juice or something, right?
I don't know. Okay.
Don't quote me on that. I don't want to defame the company if it's more.
Some of these I didn't cut too well.
It's rustic, honey.
I'm good at rustic, aren't I?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Test. Okay. Of all the ones we've done, this one is the absolute closest to Brock's.
Really, with the Skittles?
Yes, it is the gummy Skittles that gets you the closest to the real Brock's. Okay, Mike's gonna test and tell me what he thinks.
You're right. It tastes just like the Brock's.
The Skittles are the closest one to if you want real Brock's.
Wow.
Yep.
It's not quite as chewy as the Brock's. Like sometimes the Brock's can be really chewy. It's pretty chewy, but it's not quite as chewy as that. But the taste is exactly on.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Yum. 10 out of 10 again. Hello, today I'm making my 2-ingredient fudge. This recipe is in our Dining on a Dime cookbook, volume 2. You can see we have our 2-ingredient fudge with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 ways to make 2-ingredient fudge. Super easy recipe, guys, really. 1 bag, now it must be 12 ounces. You can use any kind of chips you want. You can use peanut butter chips, white chips, mint chips, peppermint chips, any chips you want, but they have to be, even cherry chips, 12 ounces, okay? So make sure you have your 12 ounces. And then we're gonna put that in our bowl. So to make the fudge, take our sweetened condensed milk. Get this all out. Then we're going to put this in the microwave. Although I've never microwaved in this bowl before, so I don't know if this is going to be a good idea or not.
We don't want any unexpected things
I
on the
know.
recipes.
Okay, there we go. All right, so every 30 seconds to a minute or so, just go in and stir it. I love my gnomes. Now, the reason why you stir between each thing, between each microwaving, is so that it doesn't burn on the bottom, because microwaves do not evenly cook. So that's why you have to stir things to get the heat distributed. Perfect. Okay. All right, that looks very smooth and creamy and fudgy. Does that look fudgy?
Man, it smells amazing.
Then I'm going to grease my pan. This is an 8x8 pan. Then just spread it out. Then you're going to refrigerate it after you get it spread in the pan, just like so. If you have room to refrigerate it. Okay. Now, if you're like me and live in Wyoming, you can put it outside also. There we go. All right.
Treats for the deer.
Yes.
And the bears.
Yes. Okay, so let's cut a piece here. Christmas is complete without Aunt Donnie's peanut butter balls. Now, you could make these into peanut butter cups if you want, but it's a little bit more work. I just do the peanut butter balls because it's easier. Now, my butter was frozen, so it didn't stay out long enough to get it defrosted. So what I'm going to do is throw this in the microwave and just give it a short burst to defrost it. Check that it's not totally... I check every 10 or 15 seconds just to make sure it's not totally just mush. You don't want it mush, but you do want it softened. It's okay if there's a little bit of it that is liquid, but you don't want it all liquid. Perfect. So I think my butter is softened. Let me check if it's softened in the center. Not really. Okay, so I'm going to put it in about 10 more seconds. Okay, it did 15 seconds, but I think that'll get it softened. Okay, got my butter, softened butter in here. So we're hauling out the big guns today. This thing I've had for 20 years. I love it. Yep, that's all softened. So now we need a cup of peanut butter. Now, this recipe is linked in the description below. I get a lot of people who say, where's the recipe? You didn't give the ingredients. No, because I make you go to our website to get it so that you can just print it out all nice and neat there. So it is in the description below. Now, people ask, can you use expired food? Yes, you can. This is July 2024, and right now it's October 2024, and we are still using this peanut butter, and it is just fine. Peanut butter does go rancid in your pantry quicker than other foods, but you still have 6 months to a year after the expiration date. Okay, just a titch more. All right, there we go.
So with 6 months to a year, how can you tell if it's bad?
You'll taste it. You'll know. It will not taste like peanut butter. It'll have an off taste, but you'll recognize it. Okay, get this all in there. Now we need our powdered sugar. All right, for you guys wondering, this is where I keep my extra. Isn't that cute? My Pepsi crate that I got for free on the side of the road. That was a good deal. Then I have scissors. We want 2 cups of powdered sugar. Now I'm not going to dirty another measuring cup. Yes, I know this is liquid and not dry, but for this recipe it doesn't really matter. Okay, scrape all the rest out. Oh my goodness, this is so delicious. This recipe is in our Dining on a Dime cookbook, volume 1, on page 336 if you want the peanut butter cups, or 337 if you want the peanut butter balls. This was my Aunt Dottie's recipe that was given to Grandma, that was given to Mom, that was given to me. Easy recipes that will help you save money on your grocery bill that your family will love. Get your copy in the description below today. Oh, and I forgot my vanilla. This is my homemade vanilla from Dining on a Dime Volume 1 also. This is a great Christmas present. I am almost out. Dear, it's been a rough year. It's been a rough year. Well, Mike calls it a melon baller. I guess it is a melon baller, but I was going to say ice cream scoops, but yeah, it would be a melon baller for this size. I love these little scoops that have the little flippy thing on there because it just comes out really nice and neat. Then I just take and now I'm not doing these perfectly, and I'll show you why. Because what I do is after I put them on here, then I go in and I just roll them. This just gives it a measured amount so they're all the same size. Okay, now I'm going to go through and do all these, and then we're going to pop them in the freezer. Okay, now the never-ending question is, where do I put it in the freezer? Oh boy.
You can take off my ice pack and it'll fit right on those flat boxes.
Oh, there. Okay. Mike's knee ice pack, and it will fit right there. Thank you, dear. See, that's why I need you around. Okay, now we're gonna let these cool for, I don't know, 30 minutes or an hour. And then we're gonna come back and dip them. Okay, there's the ice pack if you need it. Do you guys like my dresser that I put in my pantry? I got this for $25 at the thrift store, and I absolutely love it. Okay, now we got our melting wafers, which I paid $1 for these on clearance after Christmas. So check the clearance aisle after Halloween, Christmas, and Valentine's Day. You can get these 50 to 90% off. One year I got 90% off, so instead of $5, it was around, what would that be, 50 cents, I think? Is that right?
I didn't hear that.
They were really cheap. 90% off of $5 is 50 cents, I think.
Yeah.
So I got them for 50 cents. I think I paid $1 for these. So that's a great way to save money on your Christmas candy making. All right, I need to explain something about why the recipe is written differently than how I'm doing it. So you can see here, Grandma and Aunt Donnie and Mom all used 1 packet of chocolate chips and 2 tablespoons of paraffin wax. Why did they do that? Because dipping chocolates were not available when this recipe came down to my family. So you can get the dipping chocolates, or you can get a box of paraffin. I got this one at a yard sale. It's probably $3 or $4 now. And all you do is just take, well, maybe, I think those melted together, but it's fine. All you do is just take and scrape 2 tablespoons of your paraffin in your mixing bowl here, or I mean your measuring cup here. Just like so. Now this will last forever. I mean, I'm not kidding. I had paraffin that I used for 20 years before I ran out of my Christmas baking. So it's fine. It's not gonna go bad. If you're worried about eating wax, guys, it's not a big deal. You'll just poop it out. You won't do anything. It'll just slide right on through, all nice and smooth. So just don't even worry about it. But that is probably getting close to maybe just a little bit more with my 2 tablespoons. And then I would just pour in my chocolate chips and just melt as normal, about 30 seconds, and stir every 15 to 30 seconds after that, and keep stirring so your chocolate doesn't burn. Now, since we're all, what century are we in, dear?
21st.
Since we're all 21st century and not the 1900s anymore, we're just gonna pour all of our melting wafers in here and get these melted and start dipping our peanut butter balls. So I know it's crazy because you're like, Tara, nothing has really melted. Why are you stirring it? To release some of the heat so that the inside down here doesn't burn. Oh, yum. Now don't go more than 30 seconds, guys, because you'll burn your chocolate. I know it's a slow process, but in real time it's only like 2 minutes. Make sure you get clear down to the bottom, because the bottom always seems to warm up faster than the top. I don't know why. I don't know my microwave physics. Okay, so that last time I just did 15 seconds because I don't want to burn it. Very good. Okay. Now, this is not as thin as I would like it. I want it actually a little bit thinner. Well, maybe I should warm it up a little bit more. Man, that's pretty hot. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is, because it's not quite as thin as I want, I'm going to add about a tablespoon of coconut oil. You could use shortening instead if you want. Coconut oil, I just like it better because it gets hard, and so it makes a nice, more firm coating. But thin it down just a bit with either shortening or coconut oil. Yeah, there we go. That's more the consistency that I want. So if your chips aren't thinning down, just add your tablespoon of shortening or coconut oil. Ooh, beautiful. Oh, doesn't that look delicious? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, it has been about an hour. Ooh. If you guys heard the saw, it was my son outside finishing his tiny house. He's making a bus into a tiny house. Okay, now let's think about this here. How am I gonna do this? Okay. All right, so I don't wanna waste my parchment paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these and move them all to this end. Okay. Then we're going to start dipping. Now, a viewer sent me these for dipping chocolates. Oh my goodness, they are so darn tootin' cool. I'm going to leave the link in the description below for you if you want to try them. But if you don't have this fancy schmancy thing that's so cool, you can use a toothpick and just dip and tap it. There you go. Set it on your baking sheet and then just take your toothpick and just fix the top there. I'll show you how we do it with this little jobber. Put it in there, stir it around. Now I do like this better because it comes off cleaner, but oops, there we go. Okay, now we're just going to do all of these peanut butter balls. Now you might have to go halfway in between or even a third of the way and rewarm your chocolate because it does cool down. If you want to double dip, you can. I don't, but here are your peanut butter balls right here. And all right, I'm going to taste test because you don't like peanut butter, so this is mine. Okay, this is probably my favorite Christmas candy. 10 out of 10. Delicious. All right, we are making haystacks. This is Mike's favorite Christmas candy. Dining on a Dime Cookbook, Volume 1, right here, page 334. Now, you can use chocolate chips for this. I like using the candy wafers because they set up a little bit harder. If you have chocolate chips and you don't want them to be, you want them to be a little bit harder and not soft, you can add a tablespoon of either coconut oil or a tablespoon of paraffin wax for canning. I know it seems crazy, but yes, it is food safe. That's what they use to like make your apples all shiny and that kind of thing, okay? You'll just poop it out, don't worry. All right, here's the wafers. Boop, just like that. Now we're gonna throw them in the microwave. Okay, first initial melting. Okay. Okay, almost there. All right, looks pretty good. Okay, get this all smooth. Oh, does that look delicious, dear?
That looks delicious. And the candy too.
Oh, thanks. After 30 years of marriage, we still flirt with each other. Okay, back to cooking. Get focused here, dear. Get focused. Okay, then you pour in your coconut, just like so. You can use sweetened or unsweetened. I prefer sweetened just because, you know, you can't have too many diabetic comas at Christmas time. Okay, that's not really funny, but it is. All right, then I'm going to take my cake pan. Now, you don't have to use parchment paper. You can just spray it with cooking spray or use a Silpat if you want, but I've got my Silpat making my peanut brittle, so I'm just going to use parchment and just spoon haystacks on the pan.
You can buy ones about twice this size at the vacation stores for like $12 each.
Or you can make your own for $1. Oh no, I mean, my goodness, that's probably, well, that might be $1. Well, no, this whole recipe is 1, 2, 3, 4. I got these on clearance for 50 cents. So this whole recipe is like $2.50, $3. So there's your big, gigantic monster one, dear. How does that make you feel?
Good. Tara usually makes the smaller ones so we don't eat too much.
Yes, that's why. Okay, so now we're just gonna let these cool and harden, and then we'll eat them. If you guys are loving this video, would you please give me a big thumbs up saying you like it, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and hit all notifications so you can get more recipes like these. This next one is in our Dining on a Dime Cookbook Volume 2, Peppermint Bark. Now, I'm not gonna make it like this picture. I'm gonna make mine a little different. But if you want it like this, all you need to do is just do a layer of chocolate and then a layer of white and then the candy canes. I'm doing an M&M one for my kids. I got, you can use almond bark, but you can see I got this on clearance after Christmas last year. Good deal. I have found these as low as 20 cents a bag. 10 days. So like January, it would be January like 5th or something. 90% off, okay? All right, we're going to melt that in the microwave. There, isn't that cute? Oh. So the reason why you stir it, once again, is because you don't want it to burn, and microwaves don't heat evenly. So that redistributes the heat. Here, want to say hi to Rudolph? Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose. All right, there we go. Nice and smooth, nice and smooth. All right, that looks very nice and smooth. Okay, like I said, I'm not making the peppermint. My boys like M&Ms, so I'm going to do an M&M one for them. But what I'm going to do is put about 2/3 or so in on the pan. Just like so, just spread it out fairly thin. This one I'm not adding any flavoring. If you want to add flavoring, just do it before you spread it on the pan. Okay.
You don't have to grease the pan.
Nope, you don't have to grease the pan for this because there's enough oil in the bark to not stick. Okay, so then we're going to put the food coloring in. And get this all mixed up.
Smells yummy.
Ooh, that stiffened up the, I probably should have done the other kind of food coloring. Okay, that's not working like I had anticipated. Oops. Well, that kind of food coloring does not react very well. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take our M&Ms and turn this into 2-ingredient. That's funny. I've never...
What were you doing with it?
Well, I was going to make red swirls, but I've never had it. Of course, I don't know that I've ever used it like that.
So the red swirls, you would have just swirled it on the top with the pedal?
Yes. Would have just put in there. I think you need the liquid food coloring. Okay, there we go. Here, we'll move this one. Oops, or not. Okay, so we'll move a couple over here so they'll Be a little bit more in that piece. Okay, now we're gonna let this set up, and we've got peppermint bark. So under variations, I made the M&M one right there. M&M bark. Okay, so we have our haystacks. They are set up. Look at that. Okay, now this is Mike's favorite. I'm gonna test. Okay, that's pretty darn good too. Pretty good, huh?
This is my favorite candy. I absolutely love this stuff. It's interesting. Sometimes Tar makes it with soft coconut, but this was a dehydrated coconut. Interesting, the dehydrated coconut gives it a crunchier texture, which is kind of cool too.
Yeah. The next recipe we are making is cherry mash. Now this is an old-fashioned candy. A lot of people may not know what this is, but it's cherry and chocolate and peanuts, and it is so delicious. You can still find it now and then, but Dining on a Dime Cookbook Volume 2, variation right here, cherry mash. So that's the one we are making for this. Now, the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna get your peanut smasher, and see, this is like so cool. And you just put your peanuts in and go around, and then they fall down to the bottom right there. See all the peanuts going? Isn't that cool? And if a peanut gets stuck, just go back and forth until it gets unstuck. Okay, so we got all our peanuts smashed up here. Have the kids do this part. Get the very last one. Just kidding. Okay, so for this fudge, we're gonna take our white chips here. Oh, that's only 11 ounces. So what I'm going to do is leave out just a little bit of the sweetened condensed milk. So I forgot the sweetened condensed milk, so Mike ran downstairs and got me this. No, he actually got me this, but he was just being a ding-a-ling. Okay, so to make the fudge, take our sweetened condensed milk. Now look at that one's darker. But this can is fine. Huh.
I wonder if it's just a little older than the other one or something. Or a different kind of sugar.
No, it's not expired or anything. Okay, so now because this is only 11 ounces of chocolate chips, I'm only going to put, I don't know, see, I'm leaving about that much in there. I'm not putting all the sweetened condensed milk in, okay? So we're gonna melt this. Okay, so while this is microwaving, let me explain. They don't really make cherry chips anymore. You used to be able to get them all over, and now you can't hardly find them. So if you can find cherry chips, get cherry chips. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the white, add some red food coloring and some cherry extract, and that's how I'm gonna get my cherry flavoring. All right, I think that's gonna be pretty good. All right. Could be slightly warmer, but I think it's okay. Okay, so now we're gonna add our red food coloring and some of our cherry extract, imitation cherry extract. I don't know, probably, I would say 1/4 teaspoon probably. Oh, isn't that pretty? Doesn't that look all Christmassy? Christmassy-y? Now, this is a silicone 8x8 pan, just so you guys can see how that works. I'm going to put our cherry in first. All right. Ooh, doesn't that look delicious? Yeah, I would say about 1/4 teaspoon of cherry flavoring. Okay, so now we're going to take chocolate chips, and I'm not going to do a whole bag. I'm going to do probably 1/3 of a bag. Just like so. We're going to melt these. Yes, I hate dirtying bowls when I don't need to, so it won't hurt anything to put it in the same bowl. Yes, it will melt on the next stirring. You don't have to be real particular with this, in case people are wondering. Can you tell I'm not a very particular cook?
Still turns out amazing though.
Aw, thanks. And you're not just saying that because you have to.
You're right. I could have just kept my mouth shut.
No, you couldn't have. Because you love me too much.
I should be saying that.
No, you couldn't have. Because you love me too much. Right?
Yep.
All right. Now, looks like it's seizing up on me. Shoot. Okay, since it looks like it's trying to seize on me just a little bit, I am going to put just a tiny bit of coconut oil in here just to soften it up. Here, let's see if we can get it running again. There we go.
Is that because of the kind of chips they were?
It's because the bowl got too hot. The bowl got hot and the chips didn't. So the bowl got too hot and made the chips too hot, which is kind of a different situation I've had. My goodness, I've got every baking mistake going on in this video, don't I? Yeah, probably a glass measuring cup. This was not the best bowl to do this in. Very interesting. Okay, so got it smoothed. Now we're going to add our peanuts. Yeah, like a glass measuring cup or something might be better to do this in. Okay. Then, probably should have let the bottom set up, but we're just going to chunk it on there. Oh, yum. Yeah, we're not going to be exact because we want some of the pink showing through. Okay, I have to admit this is one of my favorite candies too. Now, if you want thicker chocolate, you can. Do a thicker chocolate if you want, but all right. Then we're going to take a few peanuts and sprinkle a few more peanuts on top, just like so. And just push those in so they don't fall off. Oh, yum. Okay, now we're going to refrigerate this and let this get hardened. Diane Cookbook Volume 1! We are making toffee. This is another Christmas candy we have made for, well, the 50 years that I've been alive. Probably longer than that. Right in here I have a 1/2 cup of butter, which is 1 stick melting. Then I have my brown sugar. Oh, seriously? 1/3 of a cup. Let's see. How many 1/3 of a cup are in 3/4? 1, 2. Okay. Let's hope this works. 1. Now, as always, these recipes are in the description below. Okay, so now we got our sugar and our butter, and we're gonna bring this to a boil on medium heat. All right, my toffee is coming to a boil, so while that's happening, I've lined my baking dish with a used cookie. See, it's got grease, but it's fine. It's not gonna hurt anything. It's not staying down very well, but that's fine. I cut the edges so that they'll go in there. Then we're going to, I did the parchment paper so that it'll lift out of this dish because I've never used this dish before. But if you're just using a regular metal pan, you just need to grease the bottom of the pan and then just sprinkle your nuts on the bottom of the pan. Oops, well that didn't work. Now I'm using almonds. You can use peanuts or walnuts if you want. Okay, I don't know if this pan's going to be the best pan or not. That's a little too many almonds. Okay, we'll see how this works. Ah! All right, so now it is starting to come to a boil right there. Now, you have to watch this carefully. Once it comes to a boil, you're going to let it cook 7 minutes. But you have to be careful because if your heat is too high, it'll start to burn. So stand here and watch it for the 7 minutes. And if you start smelling or seeing it get really, really dark, then just take it off immediately, pour it in your pan because usually you can save it, okay? So now we've got it on medium and we're turning it down to low. And we're going to let it finish boiling on low for 7 minutes. All right, we have 1 minute left. I turn off my stove at 1 minute because I have an electric stove and just let the residual heat finish cooking it so that it doesn't burn. But we have about 30 seconds or so left, I think. And I'm watching it really carefully. You can tell if it's going to burn because it gets really dark around the edges. Now, this is dark, but I mean it starts getting darker. And if that happens, just take it off immediately and pour it in your pan. Because usually it's not burned yet. If you start noticing it, that it seems like it's burning, just take it off right away. And you can probably save it. All right, there it is cooked. Yum. All right, so now we're going to drizzle it in our pan. Oops, there's my timer going off. Oops, oh dear, I missed. Okay, then just take your spoon. Now this is super, super hot again, so don't burn yourself. Then you're going to take your chocolate chips, and I like the mini ones because they melt quicker, but you can just use regular chocolate chips. And just sprinkle those on top. Whoops, or a lot. Then what I do is I take a baking sheet and I set it on top, and that keeps the heat in to melt the chocolate chips just for like 3 or 4 minutes. We're going to let those chocolate chips melt, and then we're going to spread them. Okay, can you see how the chocolate chips are melting? I'm going to let it stay for just 2 or 3 more minutes. Melt the rest of them. Okay, let's test the spreadability. Probably should leave it just a minute more, but I'm going to spread some of it out and get the ones that are done. There. Oh, yum. Okay, we're going to let that cool, and then we're going to crack these, and you will have delicious toffee. All right, we got our almond bark here. Now, I just take my pan. You can see it just pops right off. Then, just break it into pieces. Now, there's all the variations, guys, you can make. You can make a whole almond bark platter. Ooh, that would be yummy. All right, there we go. Okay, should I do a taste test? That's delicious. I know it's such a dumb, easy candy, but oh my goodness, it's so good. Yum. 10 out of 10. Dining at a Dime Cookbook Volume 1. Turtles. These are so good too. I remember when I worked at the fudge shop. Do you remember meeting me in the fudge shop, dear?
I do.
Oh.
Aww.
And then we said I do.
Yes. Like 2 weeks later. No, I'm just kidding.
No, let's see. We got married, what, 6 months after we married?
Yep.
Don't recommend it. Do you recommend it? Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, I recommend it. I'm just kidding. Okay. All right, now I will say this was one of my favorites at the fudge shop. They used macadamia nuts instead of pecans. So you could use almonds, pecans, macadamias, whatever you want. And you just turn, I'm gonna do the traditional pecan. Just turn them around, 3 in a row, just like so. Oh, I made a poem there.
Oh, you do 3? I thought you did 5.
Yeah, 3.
I was thinking 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head.
Well, is that how they do them in the, I don't know. We always did 3 at the fudge shop. Let's see. 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head, like that. I guess that would be a turtle, wouldn't it? I don't know.
They were downsizing at the fudge shop.
What? Oh, with the 3? That's funny. Okay, that's disturbing me. I'm sorry. That's not a proper turtle. Okay, there we go. Normally you would put like 1 caramel in there. At the fudge shop, we melted the caramel and then we put little dollops on there. But if you don't want to dirty another pan, which I wouldn't, I just take these little caramel things. What do you call them? Caramel bits. And I just put them all on here, and then we're going to put these in the oven and melt it, and then they'll all melt together. Okay?
Isn't this a no-bake video?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm baking it, aren't I? Well, the no-bake part is I melt the caramels. Hold on. You're right. Okay, we've got our little bowl. Putting my caramels in. Now, if you want, you can place these on the baking sheet and bake it and let the caramels melt. So if I do that, I just put like one like this. You can do it that way if you want. But to make it no bake, I'm going to melt my caramel in the microwave. Okay, I'm running out of spoons, so I'm getting down to the down to the wire.
Little trolley spoon.
So Mike said I need to say we're just going to dig right in and make some turtles.
Got to mix it up with your spade. No, is that a spade or shovel?
It's a
shovel.
It's a. I don't know. Is the flat one a spade? I don't know. I am second guessing myself now. Okay, there we go. Nice and melted. Not really. Well, might be. Ooh, yum. So here's what I'm going to do. Let's do it a different way. Ow, that's hot. There's caramel. There's caramel. So then what I'm going to do is plop that puppy right in the center. There.
Which way did you do it at the candy shop?
This way, actually. I just had forgotten since it's been 30 years. All right, because I'm getting tired and I didn't make enough caramels here. I'm just going to show you how to do this. Okay, so I got my chocolate chips and we're going to melt these. All right, here we go. Now, you can dip these, but I'm just going to spread it on. Oh, yeah. See, the beauty of this is that I'm the only one that'll eat these. Except I can't eat them because they have milk. Oops. All right. There's your turtles. Yum. Then we're going to let this get hard, and I'll show you the final product. Okay, we have our toffee. See how beautifully that just comes out? Now, you can just break it up with your hands, just like so. Oops, I didn't let it sit long enough. Oh, I didn't cook it long. I should have cooked it like 30 seconds longer. So here's the thing. See how it's a little, see how mine isn't just crunching? Here in Sheridan, we are literally right on the line of high altitude. So some things work at regular altitude and some don't. So if you're at high altitude, I should have cooked this another 30 seconds longer and it would be crispy. Or not crispy, but what do you call it?
Crunchy.
Hard crack. But it's perfectly fine. I mean, it's not going to hurt anything. Let's taste it. Yep, it still tastes really good. Okay, we have the cherry mash fudge. Ugh, yum. Oops, it should have sat a little bit longer. I cut it too soon. Okay, that's fine. Oh, that tastes just like cherry mash. That is so good. If you know somebody who loves cherry mash, you gotta try this. making a nougat candy. And I think this time I'm just going to cut my parchment to fit my white chocolate chips, and I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of butter, and we're going to microwave this in 30-second increments until it gets melted. Make sure you stir in between each time so that your chocolate doesn't get too hot. Get in there. Now, white chocolate will seize on you, so you don't want to overcook it. See how it's getting kind of thick there. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and add my marshmallow cream. Oh my goodness, give me a thumbs up if you guys love marshmallow cream. It's like one of the best food inventions ever. 100 years old, so delicious. Also, it's dairy free for those of you wondering. All right, then you're going to want 2/3 of a cup of whatever type of whatever types of fruits and nuts you want. So I'm doing almonds, cranberries, and pistachios, or that traditional Christmas nougat. Oh my goodness, yum. Doesn't that look delicious? Okay, now we're gonna get this all mixed up. And you will start to notice that it starts getting firm. Just don't give up. Keep mixing. Just keep mixing away. Just keep mixing, just keep mixing, just keep mixing. Just think of Dory making candy. Just envision if you were Dory making candy. Okay, make sure you get down to the bottom so it gets all mixed in. Can you see that? Oh, yum, yum, double yum. White chocolate does not melt and isn't as easy to work with as regular chocolate. Man, it is so yummy. All right. Now we're gonna spray our fingers so it doesn't stick to our fingers. Too bad. I mean, it's still gonna stick, just not as bad as, it could without it. Evenly put into our 8 by 8 inch pan. All the edges even. Okay, and then we're just gonna let this cool at room temperature until it's firmed up. And then we will cut it. You can put this in the refrigerator if you want. I just don't have room in my fridge right now. Okay, oops. Well, I guess you just gotta get all the sides there. Okay, so here's what happens when you don't get some of the white chocolate mixed in, but that won't hurt anything. Ooh, wow, it smells really good.
What kind of stuff is in it?
Pistachios, almonds, and cranberries.
Candy chopper.
Well, actually, I probably should have. Ooh. Well, that looks good. Do you like pistachios? You don't like pistachios, do you?
I think I do.
You do?
I didn't think I did, but now I think I did.
Do you want to test it and see, or do you want me to test it? Want me to test it? Oh, okay, that is really good. Oh, wow. Oh my goodness, my mouth is singing with flavors. Okay, that's really good. You wanna try it?
Yeah.
Man.
Keep in mind, folks, we don't know if Mike likes pistachios or not.
But I love white chocolate, so that's why. Wow. Okay, this is one of my new favorite ones. This is moving to the top of the list.
This is really good.
What does Jack think?
Pretty good.
Is your tongue singing with delight? All right, this one's definitely a keeper.
Yes, it's really good. And you know what? The one with the dots is pretty fun too. But this must be the high dollar one for a good price, because if you had to pay for something with these ingredients, they would charge you a whole lot more. Yeah.
So the amount of ingredients for this was for about $5 or $6. And if I were to buy this amount of fudge at the store, it would have been at least $15 to $20. These molded mints use 3 ounces of cream cheese, but I'm gonna double the recipe. So you can see here on the cream cheese, like butter, they have the measurements, so you can just cut off what you need, just like so. Okay. Since I am doubling the recipe, we are going to use 5 cups of powdered sugar. So then because I'm doubling the recipe, 2 teaspoons of peppermint extract. Make sure it's peppermint extract and make sure it's peppermint. Well, unless you like other mint flavors, that's fine. And your cream cheese is softened. Okay. All right, now you do not need gloves. I'm just doing gloves so I don't have to clean out my fingernails because we're doing like 10 cooking videos today, so. Okay, so then you're gonna start kneading it all together.
Smells great.
It smells delicious. Okay, see how it starts coming together? I know you'll doubt me. Just keep going. Now, I turn it onto my counter just because it's easier. I try to do as much as I can in the bowl, but sometimes I just can't quite get it all pretty smooth. Now you don't want to knead more powdered sugar into this. So if it's not completely smooth, just put it in your hands and knead it like this. Okay. Now, let me clean up my mess. Is this not the most darn tootin' cool thing ever? My goodness, I love this thing. Okay, now I'm going to divide this into, let's see, I think I'm just gonna do red and white. Okay, divide one in half, and not, actually about one white and one red, okay? So I'm going to take my red food coloring right here and put it in here, just like this. Might be pink. Sometimes the red food, it depends on the food coloring because red takes a lot of food coloring to make it really red. It's actually pretty good. Roll this one out into a log, okay?
I get the white food coloring?
Yeah. Okay, now on the red, because I added the food coloring, I'm actually going to add a titch of powdered sugar because it's just a little too thin from the food coloring being added. So let me get this. Now, the molded mince recipe in our cookbook, you put these in a mold and then you roll them out, but I want to try this log thing I saw on Pinterest. Pinterest is a love-hate relationship with Pinterest, don't we, dear?
Yep. So you said earlier not to put more.
Well, that's because I added food coloring to that one and it made it a little thinner. And so...
A little more wet?
Yeah. Made the dough thinner so that when I went to roll it out, it was not as good. Okay, so now, I've never done it this way before. I know I keep telling you guys this, you're doing all kinds of experiments with me, so let me see. So then what they did was they rolled it somehow like this. Let's see, how would you roll it? This, maybe? Oh, there, that might work. Okay. And then, I'm gonna break this in half. Then, oh, I think it's working. Well, sort of. Okay, maybe not. Okay, so now, before I get to the next step, this recipe is in our Dining on a Dime Cookbook Volume 1 on page 330. You can get it on sale right now in the description below at livingonadime.com. And chill them in the fridge for about an hour, since they're that thin. Now, if you just have the ball of dough, like for the original recipe, then you'll just leave it in the ball of dough and chill it for 2 hours before you tear it apart to mold it. But I'm trying the little peppermint swirl thing. So I'll show you on this one how I do it, okay? Let's just make this one all pink, and then we'll show them. Or white. Oh, maybe I should have just done it this way to make the two colors. Oh, that would be cool.
Just random swirls.
I'm gonna need just a little bit more powdered sugar because that I don't like gel food coloring, but it does give the best color. Okay, so now we're just gonna leave this in a ball and we'll put this in some plastic wrap and we'll try both and see which one turns out the best. Okay? Yes. Okay, now these have been in there about an hour. Now I'm making these into little, I'm not molding these into a mold. Now you can take a silicone mold like this and mold it if you want, and I'll show you how to do that, but I'm just taking these into little mints. Ooh, that turned out pretty good. Okay, turn that like this. Then you're gonna dip it in sugar. You're gonna do that with all of them. Just mold it into little round little mints.
Like the commercial with somebody coming around the corner with their chocolate bar and somebody coming around the corner with their peanut butter. Slam it together.
Okay, how many of you guys are old enough to remember that? Give us a thumbs up underneath the video here. You remember
It's a very popular product with many people even now.
Yeah. Oh, these are called wedding mints or molded mints, so you can make whatever color you want and mold them however you want. Now, let me show you how to do the molds here. Now, this is a chocolate mold, but what I do is get it a little bit and then you just push it into your mold, just like so. Then, see, I think you let it cool. Sure.
Maybe freeze it.
Well, this is not the best mold, but because it's a funky square. See, it's kind of got the
little pointy stuff on the bottom.
Yeah, it's kind of. But there you go. Then what you do is you just let these dry half an hour. Now, this is one of my favorite candies. Oh, it's just like our wedding.
Aw, how wonderful.
Makes me think of our wedding, dear.
Oh, did y'all make them?
Yes. These were at our wedding.
Yay.
I love you.
I love you too, honey.
Okay. Another apple cider fudge. Now, I tried dehydrating my apples because I ran out and it didn't work very well. I did it in the microwave, so I'm cutting off all the burned parts here. Oh well, it's fine. Okay, now we're gonna go get our fudge made. All right, so I have my butter in here. Now, of course, this recipe is in the description below, guys, where all my recipes always are. That's why I don't give you the ingredients and the measurements. There's my sugar. Now, if your sugar is clumpy, don't freak out. Just declumpify it, just like that, okay? We're going to add our cinnamon and our allspice. This is apple pie spice, in case you're wondering. Just make it with my own because I have all the ingredients on hand. Okay, now we're going to bring this to a boil for 5 minutes. Bring it to a rolling boil and then set your timer for 5 minutes. Mine already got started. So I got 4 minutes left. So let this boil on medium heat. arms get tired, just let it melt for a minute and you can stir again. Now I have an electric stove, so I just keep it on the heat so that it stays warm. If you have a gas stove, just put it on really, really super low. So I burned my apples trying to dehydrate them in the microwave. Saw a couple of burnt pieces, so that's what I was picking out of there. So I guess dehydrating my apples in the microwave isn't the best idea. Adding my homemade vanilla. If you want homemade vanilla, Dining on a Dime Volume 1 is where you can get my homemade vanilla. Or as I call it, my PTA meeting at school, tonic. You gotta love me, right? Here's a picture of me after the last PTA meeting. I had to come home and get my tonic and calm my nerves. Okay, now we're ready to put it in the pan. Cut 4 slits so my parchment will fit in there neatly. And now I'm going to pour it in here, and we are going to refrigerate it for 8 hours or overnight until it gets all all set up, and then we'll taste test it. Correctly. I normally don't use parchment, but I know a lot of people really like it, so that's why I've been using it more, but that's why I don't like parchment, but it's okay. All right, now we're gonna stick this in the fridge for 8 hours to overnight. Right. Recipe testing at its finest. You get to take your groceries off on your taxes and have fudge, whatever you want. Is that the best job ever?
And it's because she's sharing it with you.
Okay. Okay. Now, I did not keep this in the refrigerator 8 hours or overnight. It was actually only in the refrigerator about 4 hours, and it's more than set up. So here we go.
Whoa, you're making bigger calorie pieces on this one.
This is my Cutco knife. That was my grandma's. This knife is probably, oh my goodness, this knife is probably 70 years old, maybe 80 years old. Maybe 70. Okay, this one's a little large. I'll cut that one.
Jack!
Oops, he's in the restroom. Okay, I'll test it. That's pretty good. Wow. Okay, you taste it and let me see what you think. That one's more apple cider-y. So do you.
Definitely. It's more apple-y.
More apple-y.
Yep.
You want to test the next one, Jack? Or no? You want to test the next one? You don't have to. Do you want to? This is another apple cider fudge. It's just a different recipe.
Whoa, that's really good. That's like, I've never had anything like this. This is kind of weird.
So Dad says it tastes like the North Pole.
Yeah.
Does it taste like?
I think that's accurate.
Does it taste like the North Pole?
Mm-hmm.
So do you like this one better or the original one better?
I like this one better.
Yeah.
So everybody voted on this one.
Does it have like apple chunks in it or?
Yes.
Oh.
They both had apple chunks in them.
Oh.
This one has more apple chunks.
This has more apple cider and more apple chunks.
I see.
Okay.
Yum.
All right. Well, now we know which one wins. Tastes like the North Pole. And what happened at Jack's school with the fudge. It's pretty funny.
Well, the teachers, he took some to school for all the teachers to share. And
So all our cooking videos, so we don't have all this food everywhere. I send it to the Restore, Habitat Restore, and then I send it to Jack's school too for the teachers.
and one of the teachers tried to walk off with all the fudge, and they were all like kind of fighting over who gets to have it. Not really fighting, but you
I
know.
sent a huge plate and Jack said it was all gone by noon. So I guess that's good.
So yay.
Yeah.
Well, something else on that apple, the fudge, is that I noticed that after I tested one and it was kind of okay, not great. And then later on after it set, I tested it out of the same container and I was like, oh,
The flavors
sitting
melded.
there just made it a whole lot better. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Usually when food sits, the flavors meld together.
Wow, now I know.
Cups is 2 packages of dots. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut all of these up into smaller pieces. Down here. Okay, so I think the easiest way to do this is just to take a knife and just separate, or not separate, but cut each one in half. I think that's the easiest way to get them cut in half. Next thing we wanna do is prepare a pan. So I have my parchment paper, an 8x8 pan, and I'm cutting for the corners. Just like, oops, I missed. Just like so. Now the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take a microwave safe bowl. This is my favorite one. I got it at a thrift store, but I will put a link in the description below if they still have one similar. I don't know if they do or not, on Amazon. You want 2 tablespoons of butter, and then you want 20 ounces of chocolate chips. So this one happens to be 9 ounces, and this one happens to be 11 ounces. So just check your chips. It's basically 2 bags of chocolate chips. Okay, so we're gonna combine that with 2 10-ounce packages of mini marshmallows. These in here because I need to use them up. Hold both packages of chocolate chips. This is 10 ounces of the big ones that I used up. So what I'm gonna do is get this all started melting, and then I'm gonna add the rest of the chips. Then you wanna be sure to stir in between so you don't burn any of your chocolate. You can also do this in a pan on a double boiler if you want.
Double boiler?
Double boiler. Do you know what a double boiler is?
No, I don't.
It is a pan. It's where you take a pan like this, put water in it, and then you take a bowl and put it on top and put your ingredients in here, and it slowly warms it without burning.
Oh.
That's what a double boiler is. All right, now we're getting down. So I'm gonna add my next bag of marshmallows. So it acts like my white chocolate is trying to seize up on me. So I'm just going to go through and keep stirring until I can get the rest of the chocolate melted, or the marshmallows melted, so that the chocolate doesn't get too hot. White chocolate will seize if it gets too hot. You can't diddle around because once it starts cooling, it's hot. Okay, so now let's get all of our candies. Then I'm going to leave some to decorate the top here. Some of the smaller ones to decorate the top. Okay, now trick. When you have something sticky, spray your fingers. You can just press it in the pan with your fingers. Try to make sure, like if you were envisioning cutting it, that every piece has a little piece on top. So now we're gonna let this set up and then we will cut it. And do not put it in the refrigerator, just let it set up at room temperature. Okay, it has been 4 hours and I think, do I dare give this a try, dear?
Looks like nougat to me.
It is supposed to be nougat.
What?
Do you think that it turned out as nougat? Is it too soft still? Size, right? Or wrong?
Depends on how many calories you want.
Okay, as I was dishing this up for the neighbors, Mike said it is.
I said of all the Christmas candies you've ever made, this is probably one of the top 5.
I am making Mounds candy. You're going to take 1 can of sweetened condensed milk, not evaporated milk. Sweetened condensed milk has sugar and milk. Evaporated milk is just milk with some of the water removed, so it's concentrated. Then we're going to take 3 cups of sweetened coconut. Now I think 3 cups is 1 package. Let me see. Nope, it's just shy. Okay, so you want, that's what I thought. So you want a 12-ounce package. This is 14. So you either want a 12-ounce package of coconut or 3 cups, whichever you want. Now, this recipe is adapted from our Dining on a Dime cookbook, volume 1. This was my aunt's. This was my grandma's sister's recipe right here, Mounds. Now this is more like a Mounds cookie in the book because you make a crust, but I'm making just the candy today. So if you want to make just the candy, use the same recipe, except leave off the crust. Now this is really super sticky, so just so I don't have to dig the coconut out from underneath my fingernails, because I'm doing a whole bunch of videos today, I am using these food gloves. Not necessary at all, except that I'm doing a whole bunch of videos and I don't feel like cleaning out my hands. So we're going to take and roll this into little logs. I'm gonna go through and do all that, and then I'm gonna show you the next step. Okay. Now if your shape gets a little off, just go in and reshape it, and then when we freeze them, it will be okay. If you want to make these into Almond Joys, all you have to do is stick your almonds in there, and then you will have Almond Joy candy. Okay, now if you get one that, like this, oops, I splatted. Okay, if like this one's smaller, then just take a little bit off of this one, put it on there, and reform it.
Or make that a diet one.
Or make that, yeah, that's the diet one.
It only has 450 calories, not 500.
At 5,000. Okay, now to make these into Almond Joys, we will stick our almonds on top, just like so. Now I like the roasted and salted almonds because that extra little bit of salt actually brings out the flavor really well. People don't know that, but when you salt sweet things just slightly, you don't taste the salt usually. Now you might in these, but you don't usually taste the salt. It just brings out the sweetness. All right, now this will be Mom and I's candy for Christmas.
I'll eat almond.
This will be Mounds for everybody else. Now we're gonna freeze this for about 20 minutes. All right, for the Mounds, I have dark chocolate here. Okay, 30 seconds, and we're stirring. really thin, so I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of coconut oil or shortening, whichever you prefer. I just switch between ingredients, guys, so you guys can see how I use the different ingredients for what I have on hand. Because I want this dark chocolate thinned out a little bit more, and the coconut oil, or you could use the paraffin, the shaved paraffin, how I showed in my peanut butter balls recipe. All right, that's pretty good. Let's go get our mounds. All right, there they are, frozen. Yum. Mounds. So now, I'm going to take a fork, dip it in there, and let it drip. The spoon turns it around easier, and the fork helps it drain easier. Now see how I have a little hole right there? I just take and just move the chocolate, fill it in. There's a little hole right there. If you need extra chocolate, you can just take your spoon. Almond Joys have milk chocolate, but what I use is semi-sweet or milk, whichever one you want. We prefer semi-sweet. Now I do have just about, I don't know, 2 tablespoons of dark chocolate left from my Mounds bars. So what I'm gonna do is just mix in my semi-sweet, and then it'll just be slightly darker. It's really not that big of a deal, guys. It just depends on what your family likes. Then I'm going to add a little bit of coconut oil in this one also to get it thinner. Now, since I already have some melted chocolate in here, this is probably gonna go quicker. Yeah, so. Wow, that's pretty hot. I'm just gonna let the rest of them, I only did 30 seconds because I already had some chocolate in here, and I'm gonna let the rest just melt from the heat of the measuring cup. Okay, now the rest of that, look how nice. It was what, maybe 2 minutes, dear, that we let that sit from. Now you can tell if the measuring cup is too hot for you to put your hands there, do not microwave anymore. Your chocolate will melt the rest of the way. Now, I'm going to put in our Almond Joys. Shoot. You might need to put these back in the freezer if they start getting a little too soft. I'm gonna see if I can just get them done. Now this one's getting really, really soft, so I hope I can get my last. If it gets really soft and you're like on your last one, just go ahead and
Give your husband a spoon.
give your husband a spoon. I think I made it. I think I made it. I think I made it. Okay, now we're gonna set these in the freezer and let them harden up. Okay, here are our Mounds and our Almond Joy after they have been in the freezer and set up. Now, if you miss a little corner, your sweetened condensed milk will seep out just a little bit, but don't freak out. If you want to double dip these, you can, just to make sure, but frankly, we don't really worry about it. So, now, if you want to have these for Christmas and make them ahead of time, then I just make them and leave them on the parchment paper, scooch them all together, and then just set the whole thing in a freezer bag, okay? So there's our Mounds candy. Here's our Almond Joy candy. You want to test the Mounds, dear?
Sure.
Okay, which one do you want to test? You can pick one or both.
Ooh, I'd almost test both. But here, I'll try the Mounds one first. Mmm.
It's better than the store, I think.
Mmm. That was really good.
Yum.
I have to test the other one? Just kidding. So I gotta get a piece with an almond in it right here.
Yep, there you go.
Mmm.
Delicious. Yay, it's delicious. I didn't fail. Of course not. It's because it's in our Dining on a Dime cookbook, volume 1.
Yes, it's amazingly delicious. Yum.
Now we're just gonna pop these in the freezer and save them till Christmas. I hope you guys love these Christmas candies. Please go watch this video next, and we will see you guys next time.